Famer. It's been 21 years, 5 months, and 168 days since Albert launched his first big league homer.
Deep drive to left, his first major league homer. Well, he'll hit many in his career.
The now 42-year-old Pujold, who will retire at season's end, is now improbably closing in on the 700 home run mark, vying to become just the 4th player in Major League history to reach that plateau. Call it unprecedented. Call it unbelievable.
He's turning back the clock.
The machine has returned to vintage form in the second half, putting a number seemingly no one thought touchable very much into play.
698. Albert Pujold, 2 away from 700.
Back home in St. Louis, where it all began, the world watches as Pujold attempts to write the final chapter of a storybook career.
It's like you never left.
Dodger Stadium, another place Albert once called home, plays host as the march to 700 continues. Next on Apple TV+.
Yeah, this time I came with friends. Yeah, with my team we aim to win. Yeah, right now the show begins. We gon' bring it to the house for the home team. Big plays, big wins for the whole team. We gon' bring it to the house for the home team. We better ready from head to feet.
Swing into the right center field. And it is. Whoa, are you kidding me? It's time to go. It's time to go right now. Get ready.
Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, one of baseball's most special cathedrals. And it could be a special night as we welcome you to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV+, presented by ZipRecruiter. We're on Pujold's watch here in LA. Albert is just 2 home runs away from 700 in his career as the Cardinals take on the Dodgers here in Los Angeles tonight. We take a look at the playoff picture in the National League. As of right now, the Dodgers the 1 seed, the Mets are 2, and the Cardinals as the Central Division leader would be 3. But both of these teams certainly will be October bound. Alongside Russell Dorsey and Chris Young, I'm Wayne Randazzo. And Russell, we could see a really special night tonight. Albert Pujold, 2 home runs away from 700. He's addressing the crowd here at Dodger Stadium right now, as a matter of fact. But it's a pretty good Dodger team that we're going to be seeing too. They've won 104 games. They've got the best record in baseball, and they're headlined by their big 3, although we won't see Freddie Freeman tonight.
When you talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers, it starts with Mookie Betts. That guy is one of the best, if not the best player of his generation. Look at that WAR right there since the start of 2014. One of the highest behind the other guy, Mike Trout. But he's always a threat to beat you with his speed, power, having the best power season of his career. He can also do it on the defensive end. And the other guy in this lineup hitting third, Trey Turner. We talk about Xander Bogaerts, Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson, guys are going to be free agents. This guy could be a free agent at the end of the season as well. And you got to be pretty good to be hitting third in this lineup. And Trey Turner is one of the best players in baseball right now, can do it in a lot of different ways. That's a lot of hits, guys. You have 253 hits since the start of 2021. You're doing something right. The list of WAR in the National League, the guy not in the lineup right now, Freddie Freeman, leads the big leagues in hits this year. So this lineup is really good.
And we'll see a lot of good players here tonight on both sides between the Dodgers and the Cardinals, and see why. Well, it's Pujold, it's Molina, it's Wainwright. But the guy in the background, he loves the background, who might be the MVP in the National League this year, has been Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt has been that guy consistently from the very beginning of the season up until this point. He's been carrying the offense. Up until a couple weeks ago, he was right there up top going for the Triple Crown, leading in average in the top 5 in all major offensive statistical categories. And he's been so consistent, just that steady presence in the lineup all season long, doing what he does. Goldie has had a great career, and if he continues to keep this up, he may be joining Pujold years down the road in the Hall of Fame. But it hasn't been just Goldie. Arenado has been that guy right in line with him, helping carry this offense. And as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, you're just going to need the rest of those Cardinals to step up. The Pujols to stay hot. The Tommy Edmonds step up in big situations if they're going to try to take this thing to the ship.
Well, it takes a special character to put Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado in the background. That's because Albert Pujold is a Cardinal again, and he is chasing history, 2 away from 700 career home runs. And for more on Albert, we send it down to Tricia Whitaker.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He is chasing history, and today he will continue chasing history at Dodger Stadium, where he played last year. He actually just addressed the crowd. He got a standing ovation from all of the fans in the stands, and he told us before the game, that team over there in that dugout, I credit them with actually changing my mind about retirement. He said the energy they play with certainly played a role, and as you guys mentioned, he's knocking on the door of 700 home runs. Here's Pujold before the game of the advantage of facing 3 lefties this series, which, as we know, he crushes lefties, and being on the cusp of reaching that 700 milestone.
It's just another number, so I think if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, then great. I think at the end of the day, that doesn't affect my career and what I have accomplished in this game. So I think my main focus, is to continue to contribute, help this ball club to win, and hopefully punch a ticket to the playoff. When my swing is locked in, it doesn't matter who I'm facing, whether it's lefty, righty, sidearm, whatever. At the end of the day, if I'm locked in, I'm locked in. So I still have to go out there with that attitude to trust my process that I put day in and day out in the batting cages, and then do it in practice and hopefully do some damage.
You love that veteran perspective. Doesn't matter who he's facing, he's just looking for some quality at-bats. He did say, though, it's going to be emotional. He said, I've faced these guys so many times throughout 22 years, but this time's a little bit different. Around the corner, we will return here on Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus as Albert Pujold chases history. We got a good one for you tonight. Dodgers Cardinals when we come back.
Strike first. Hey, what a play! Tommy Edman throw to first and a double play. He's going to watch it fly. And he ties the game at 1. Curved him to death. Just a do-or-die play. Jansen deals. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Welcome on. Well, that's a great way to start the postseason.
Back at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. You saw right there the last time the Dodgers and the Cardinals played here at Chavez Ravine. A wild card game in 2021 that launched the Dodgers into the division series. And we'll see if Albert Pujold can launch home run number 699 or even home run number 700 here tonight. Got to hit 699 first, though, and Cardinals will have Albert moved up in the order. He's batting second for only the third time in his major league career, although it's the second time in the last week that Pujold has batted in the number 2 spot in the St. Louis order. We mentioned Goldschmidt, MVP candidate, Arenado, MVP candidate. They are batting 3 and 4 behind Pujold tonight. Pujold has been behind them a lot lately, but Albert batting in the 2 spot against Dodgers starter Andrew Heaney tonight. Heaney a 2.66 ERA. He's struck out 92 hitters in 61 innings. He is home run prone, especially lately. He's given up a lot, really, over the last few seasons he has. 12 home runs overall allowed by Heaney this season, and a lot of them have come over his last several starts. Tommy Edman leads things off for St. Louis. We are underway at Dodger Stadium with a called strike to Edman. It was Edman who scored the only run for the Cardinals in last year's wild card game. And 3 hits, couple of stolen bases, and a run scored. He had a big game that night. Edman fouls that one off from Heaney, and see why at this point Andrew Heaney is basically throwing 2 pitches, high fastball, sliders down and in. He has mostly abandoned his changeup, although it seems like he's trying to work it back lately.
Yeah, he's found a lot of success in that.
He strikes out Tommy Edman with the slider, and Andrew Heaney starts his night with a strikeout to bring up Albert.
Designated hitter, number 5, Albert Pujold.
Ball 1 to Pujold upstairs. Albert Pujold with 698 career home runs. 15 of them have come in his last 52 games. And he takes a strike from Heaney. A foul ball elicits a roar from the crowd, an appreciative crowd here for Albert, who spent the second half of last season as a Dodger. And you could tell it meant a lot to the fans here at Dodger Stadium that Pujold is here chasing this number in this ballpark this weekend. Fouls that one off. Pujold fights off another. His last home run was last Friday, number 698 in his career. And it's 2-2. That was a game played at Busch Stadium. Cardinals will not be back at home until the end of this month. They're on a long road trip right now. So 700 could come on the road. He strikes out here on a high fastball. Andrew Heaney has punched out the first two, and he gets Pujold on a pitch that Albert normally devastates.
Right here, Heaney known for throwing that high fastball. Pujold knowing that, waiting on it, but just quite not able to be able to catch up to it, going right over his bat right there. Still plenty at bats left, AP.
Here's Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt has often been in the MVP conversation, though he's never won the MVP. This very well could be the year.
And I think rightfully so, Wayne. Like, it should be the year. He's come up runner-up a couple times, but Goldie has been one of the more consistent players in the game ever since he made his debut. Has the same approach, sticks to the same game plan, and it's worked for him.
Well, they call Albert the Machine, and the word you hear a lot with Goldschmidt is robot. He's robotic about his routine and the things that he does to prepare.
And he's been very sure about that routine ever since he's made his debut. Like, I played with Goldie when he was rookie. He had the same routine then, and he hasn't wavered from it.
Hard ground ball that it's gotten to by Alberto with a throw to first that Vargas can't pick out. Miguel Vargas getting a start at first base tonight. Unusual. Did not see Freddie Freeman over there, who was started in all but just 2 games, including this one. And as Alberto's throw bounced, Vargas couldn't scoop it.
You see the ball up the middle. Goldschmidt thinking that play is going to be made. And Vargas just can't come up with the scoop.
And it makes a huge difference with your infield when you have Freddie Freeman. When you have a sure-handed guy over there at first base, I feel like infielders feel like they can literally throw it anywhere in the vicinity, knowing that Freeman is going to be able to take that ball up for him. And Vargas probably can too, just right here, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the play.
Normally that error, and in this case as well, it goes to the fielder who threw the ball. But that's a play the first baseman ordinarily makes, but you never see the first baseman get charged for the error on a ball that short hops him like that. Two balls, no strikes on Nolan Arenado.
And with the level of success that Heaney has had this season when he's been on the mound, and this Cardinals offense, although they've been scuffling a little bit as of late, you can't give these guys too many extra outs to play with.
The count is 3-0 on Arenado, who is nearing another 30 home run, 100 RBI season. It would be the 7th of his major league career, if and when he gets there. 29 homers, 98 RBIs. He should get there. Might get there right now, and on 3-0, he just gets under one. Chris Taylor has room to retire the sign in the top of the first. Heaney might have gotten away with one there on 3-0. He works around a 2-out error. No runs for the Cardinals in the first. Back at Dodger Stadium. Some beautiful shots from high above here in LA tonight as we see the Dodger lineup without Freddie Freeman tonight. Mookie Betts, Trey Turner bat 1 and 2 this evening. Will Smith moves up to the 3-hole without Freeman in there. Bottom of the order looks a little bit different as well. No Gavin Lux in there tonight. No Bellinger, no Gallo. With the left-hander on the mound for St. Louis. More righties in the lineup for the Dodgers as Jose Quintana, the veteran, starts for the Cardinals this evening. Quintana's had a good year, a 3.16 ERA. Really, it's been a revival for him. It's been a few years since he's had numbers even close to this. And he's been great as a Cardinal since being traded from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mookie Betts takes a strike from Quintana. Mookie had a good night yesterday. Came in as a pinch hitter and had a walk-off base hit against the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was the first walk-off hit in Mookie's career as a Dodger, which figures to have a whole lot more. He's going to be here a while.
And talking to Mookie before the game, he hates the days off. He hates the days off. He says they're way more stressful than the days that he's in there.
Now, some managers talk about how players handle an off day, and some guys handle off days better than others. Some guys use it to relax and refresh, and other guys are anxious and they don't like it.
And Mookie's the latter. He's the guy who's anxious. He's watching at bats. He's seeing who gets up in the bullpen. He's watching the score of the game, and the entire time you're stressing out because you're in the cage preparing for that one at bat, which could be the result of the game.
And I think the other side, if you're Dave Roberts, you've locked everything up. So you have these last few games in this season to get guys like Mookie Betts rest, to get Freddie Freeman, who's not playing in the lineup tonight, get him some rest.
Ball 3 to Mookie Betts. And that's a full count on a leadoff batter that has hit 35 home runs.
And it's so nice to have a guy at the top of the lineup that can drive the ball out of the yard, can be a 1-0 game, but can work that bat. If you don't throw him strikes, he will take his walk.
Mookie's got 35 homers and 35 doubles. He is the first Los Angeles Dodger to ever do that. You have to go back to Duke Snider in the Brooklyn days to find the last Dodger to have 35 of each in the same season.
It's a pretty good name.
Not bad. Past Quintana, fielded by Donovan. His throw gets Betts at first. Picked out by the Gold Glover Goldschmidt.
Here's another ball similar to Goldie, hitting the ball up the middle. Donovan throwing the ball low, but with having Goldie over there at first base being so sure-handed over there, makes it an easy scoop to get the out right there on Mookie.
So Trey Turner's the batter. Turner's had a great year, hitting over 300. And a called strike from Quintana. Turner had an 18-game hitting streak snapped last night. Bouncing ball to Nolan Arenado, another Gold Glover on the Cardinals side, and he throws out Turner. A couple of ground ball outs for Jose Quintana, and that's what he likes to do.
As we look at Jose Quintana's arsenal, 4-pitch mix, 4-seam fastball, curveball, changeup, and sinker. That curveball is one of the best in the business, as you see by the batting average against. But he wants to get ahead of you. He wants to flip that curveball over in 2-strike counts.
StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud as we saw Quintana's arsenal. Now Will Smith looks at a strike. It's that curveball from Quintana. It's always been his bread and butter pitch. It's just the changeup that he's mixed in a lot more this year.
But his success, Wayne, pretty much all depends on him being able to control the inner half of the plate with that fastball. With him being a guy that I faced plenty of time, he really hasn't changed his approach on how he gets hitters out. He's able to control that fastball in off the plate to right-handers like he was able to do right there on Turner to get the jam shot. And if he's able to execute that pitch, it opens up the entire field for him.
There he goes into Smith, but missed. And the count 2-1. one thing is for sure about Quintana, and along with Jordan Montgomery, who's going to pitch for the Cardinals tomorrow, they have stabilized a rotation that had some question marks throughout the year. It's 3 balls and a strike on Smith. The Cardinals were relying on some guys who are now in their bullpen, including Andre Palante, to start some games. And it put a lot of pressure on the other relievers, and now they can relax a little bit, knowing that Quintana and Montgomery on back-to-back days are going to eat up some innings. Curve is in there on 3-1 to make it a full count on Smith.
And the Cardinals, they were so in on the Soto sweepstakes, you know, back at the trade deadline, but they had a good awareness of what they needed to become a better team, and adding these pieces at the back end of their bullpen pretty much provides an opportunity to have a quality start.
Will Smith strikes out on the curve, and Jose Quintana with a quality first inning, 1-2-3, as he sets down the Dodgers in order at Dodger Stadium.
Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball from Dodger Stadium. Well, as we hope to witness history the next few days or in the next few weeks from Albert Pujold, it's important to cherish these moments as we finish out the regular season and into the postseason. Because no matter if Pujold ends the season on a high note with off-the-chart numbers or in a slump, this is it. The 42-year-old said back in March he would retire at the end of the season, and he doubled down on that decision last month when he spoke to USA Today. He said, "I'm still going to retire no matter whether I end up hitting 693, 696, 700, whatever." He said, "I've had enough. I'm glad I made the announcement that this was it when I signed," because he said, "I really wouldn't change a thing." So in summary, guys, cherish the last few weeks of the regular season and into the postseason, watching the oldest player in baseball and a legend of the game hopefully make some history, guys.
Tricia, thank you very much. Albert struck out in his first appearance today. Is the DH batting in the second spot for the Cardinals tonight as Juan Yepes hits one foul. See why I thought you made a great point to us earlier that, you know, some people will say, how could you walk away if you're at 699 or whatever? But there's always another milestone to chase. There's always another number that's not too far away in Albert's case. So you understand where he's coming from.
I understand where he's coming from, and when he talks about it, he doesn't put the level of importance on 700 as we do. He puts the level of importance on the entire body of work, what he's been able to do over this, you know, over these 21 seasons, going out there, playing his game, representing himself and the team that he's playing for in the right way. And no matter what he does, Wayne, if he reaches the 700, when you're as good of a player as he is, there's another record right behind it. There's going to be the extra base hits record or the games played record or another home run record. And it gets to the point to where you can never walk away. So at some point, you just have to be satisfied with where you're at and be content with that and trust your instincts. He wants to spend time with his family. I think anybody out there in the world can understand that.
And make no mistake, Albert's #1 goal this year in his return to the Cardinals is to win another championship as a Cardinal, and they're going to have that opportunity. Their magic number is very close to being complete as far as winning the National League Central goes, and the Cardinals should be in the postseason.
And I think the other side of that, you're seeing a guy that's clearly emptying the tank, right? He's comfortable being back home, and he's going out there. He's not just playing, he's performing at a high level. So it's one of those things where he can leave the game knowing I did everything I could to leave the game better than I found it.
Juan Yepes strikes out. Heaney has his third. The great Albert Pujold, 22 seasons in the big leagues. Top 10 in so many all-time offensive categories. Second in RBIs technically, as the statistic didn't start counting until 1920. Total bases second all-time behind Henry Aaron. Fourth in homers, ninth in hits. He and Henry Aaron will be the only two players with 3,000 hits and 700 home runs if Albert does get those two more. Of course, you could make the argument too that postseason home runs should count, in which case Albert's already over 700.
I agree with that.
Dylan Carlson playing a lot of center field now. Began the year in right when the Cardinals still had Harrison Bader. They used Bader to get Jordan Montgomery from the Yankees. And Carlson, who's had some injury problems this year, has moved to center field.
What's really impressive about Heaney right here, he's making that fastball velo play up. I mean, all these pitches are 93, but you can see these Cardinals hitters are fighting to try to get to that 93. He's able to elevate it. He's able to get it in on them right there to make them uncomfortable.
And to your point, CY, these guys all know that back foot slider is a possibility for him, and you know he wants to get to that. So it's trying to get the head out in front, catch one of those four-seamers up in the zone.
The strikeouts are for real. He's got the highest strikeout rate in the National League based on the qualification for number of innings that he's pitched, which hasn't been many. He had some shoulder problems. And he doesn't go very deep into games. He's only gotten through 6 innings a couple of times this year. Normally he's in that 4 or 5 inning range. His average innings per start is under 5 innings. So he has not shown the Dodgers that he can rattle off 7, 8 innings and take you deep in a game. And the Dodgers are in the mindset right now, especially with some question marks around Tony Gonsolin. They're starting to think about how their postseason roster is going to shape, how their postseason starting rotation is going to look, and there's Gonsolin. Dustin May hasn't been that sharp since coming back.
And that's something that some players take for granted. When you have a team like the Dodgers, they're so used to going to the playoffs every single season. And Heaney's 9 years, this is his first opportunity that he's had to go to the playoffs. So he has a little extra adrenaline behind every throw he makes tonight. You're trying to earn your way into that rotation. You want to be a big piece of how you're able to win that World Series if that's what happens this season.
We welcome in the audience that was watching Aaron Judge try to chase some history tonight. We bring you to Albert Pujols' side of it. It's Dylan Carlson. It's a high fly ball toward right center field, but that will fall into the glove of Mookie Betts for out number 2 here in the second. The Yankees won that game over the Red Sox tonight 5-4 as our StatCast powered by Google Cloud follows the arsenal of Andrew Heaney.
You look at the southpaw Andrew Heaney. Very simple. Four-seamer, slider, changeup. And that slider is devastating. Wayne talked about him leading the big leagues in strikeout rate right now. That's a big reason why. See why you know Andrew Heaney well, and that stuff has changed over the years.
So he was a guy that I played with the Angels, and we worked together. I would stand in his bullpens every single time he threw a bullpen, and he was always trying to figure out how to be as deceptive as possible. He would play with his stance on the rubber. He would move to the third base side, move to the first base side, try to see where can he control that inner half to right-hand hitters the best. And with the Dodgers, he made the adjustment to where he just finished right in the middle of the rubber, and he found that's the most effective for him.
It's ahead of Lars Nootbaar. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nootbaar's been something of a spark plug for the Cardinals this year, and he sparked them yesterday with a home run against the Padres. Goes the other way and lines a base hit down the left field line. Taylor has some trouble cutting it off, and Lars Nootbaar gets into second base. We'll see if that's a single and an error or a double all the way, but you could hear some of the Cardinal fans that are here shouting Newt at Lars Nootbaar.
And Nootbaar doing a great job staying with his heater, shooting it the other way. And I believe he'll get the double on here, mainly because he was hustling out of the box, and he's thinking double the entire way. There was no slowdown right here. Yes, Taylor did bobble the ball real quick, but that would have been a really tough play for him to be able to make that play, pivot, and throw it in. But you see Nootbaar hustling out of the box. He had no plan of stopping right there. He was going to no matter what, so he has to get the double on that ball.
So Nootbaar's on with 2 outs for the catcher, Andrew Kisner. Yadier Molina not in the lineup. Kisner has played more than Molina this year, although the offensive production from both has been lackluster, although Yadi's turned it on lately. Kisner only 1 hit in his last 25 at bats. Meanwhile, Molina's hit over 300 in September.
You're just assuming at this point with Molina, you're going to have to gauge how often you get him out there. You got to make sure the body's right, because you know he's going to be a huge part of the postseason. No matter what the offensive production is, you need him behind the dish to be able to call the game.
Molina and Pujold were gifted golf clubs by the Dodgers before the game today. They got surfboards in San Diego. They're making the rounds and collecting gifts in their final season in the big leagues together. One ball, 2 strikes on Kisner.
And this next time through the lineup, I'm very curious to see the adjustment that the Cardinals make. He's been pounding everybody top of the zone, inner half, especially with a guy like Pujold. I'm curious to see if he tries to open up a little bit, cheat a little bit to that fastball in and take a chance on him.
And for a lineup that likes fastballs, man, you think of Nolan Arenado, a guy that can drop the head of the bat, drive to the ballpark. Paul Goldschmidt, the same thing. And Albert, at this point in his career, you know, he used to be a hip turn guy, and now he's picking that leg up, putting it down, and trying to get ahead of fastballs, get the head out in front.
And with Kisner right here, I mean, he's been sped up completely. Heaney has fed him a lot of fastballs. Right now, you feel like it's the perfect time to go ahead and go to that slider. You've opened it up for yourself to be able to go for the strikeout.
Tried to go down there. It's a ground ball that Trey Turner backhands. His long throw in time. And Kisner retired to win the inning. A 2-out double from Nootbaar, but Heaney puts up another 0, and it's still scoreless in L.A. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus is presented by ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And sponsored in part by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you can save. And by Mattress Firm, upgrade and save up to $400 on top-rated brands. I love these overhead shots of Dodger Stadium. The drone's out there somewhere, pumping in these great shots of one of baseball's most beautiful cathedrals, Dodger Stadium. Third oldest ballpark in all the big leagues. It is a real beauty. Justin Turner looks at a strike from Jose Quintana as he leads off the bottom of the second. Turner's had a good year, good second half especially. He's driven in 81 runs now on the season. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. You know, as the DH has come to the National League, it's given some players opportunities, including Albert, to come home to St. Louis. Giving Justin Turner an opportunity to last a little bit more into his career. Swings through a pitch up in the zone there, and it's 2-2.
You think about Justin Turner and the success the Dodgers have had over the last 5 to 7 years. That guy's been a big part of it. We talked about it, Wayne. Really cold first half, but has turned it on here since the All-Star break.
See Turner in September hitting .358. That's the best in the National League. Freddie Freeman, who's leading the league in hitting overall, has maintained that with an excellent September of his own. Turner fights off another one from Quintana.
With Turner, we see what type of player he can be when he gets hot, and we've seen him in the playoffs, especially with these Dodgers. I mean, he's the top guy on the team as far as postseason stats numbers go right now. He's huge in the clutch, and he's getting hot right at the right time.
He's still been great this year with runners in scoring position. Those clutch moments, really, when Justin Turner does seem to stand out. A long at bat in the works here as he continues to foul off pitches from Quintana. Full count. This has been an 8-pitch at bat so far, as Quintana now has to go to 3-2 on Turner with Max Muncy and Chris Taylor to follow. This one will reach the seats and will be at least a 10-pitch at bat.
Put your hands together.
On 3-2, Turner serves one to right, but it hangs up for Lars Nootbaar. And he makes the catch just shy of the warning track. 10 pitches in, and Turner loses the battle, but hit the ball hard toward right.
This is number 13, Max Muncy.
Overhead of downtown LA. Shot coming, I think, straight from the San Gabriel Mountains. Looking in toward Dodger Stadium from straightaway center field with the background of Los Angeles. Max Muncy looks at a strike. You know, if you go to the top deck of Dodger Stadium, you really get the whole panoramic view of the entire city, the entire area. bringing you some of that tonight with the drone.
I mean, it's such a beautiful stadium, and being a player, this is a view that we never received. I never got a chance to see this view of Dodger Stadium or see the view in San Francisco.
Max Muncy hits a high pop-up. Tommy Edman, a Gold Glove winner at second base last year, makes the catch to retire Muncy. You know, there's that new Gold Glove Award category this year for utility players. And as Tommy Edman shifts between second base and shortstop this year, he hasn't logged enough innings to qualify for the Gold Glove at any one position, but very easily could win that new utility Gold Glove Award this year in the National League.
And I think that it's a no doubt for him. When you look at the guys in the NL, you know, you think of Tommy Edman, you think of the McNeils of the world, but Tommy Edman has been so consistent, already winning a Gold Glove at one position. That shows that, you know, he has the hands, he has the mobility for it. But for this Cardinals team, he's probably one of the more valuable guys that they've had. Because, yes, you have your Goldschmidts, you have your Arenados, but you need those other pieces like Chris Taylor was for this Dodger team for many years. You need those guys on the team to be that glue for your squad.
Kind of a down year for Taylor offensively, as he falls behind 0-2. The last moment for Taylor and the Cardinals was here at Dodger Stadium in that wild card game last year, as Tommy Edman, one of 27 Gold Glove awards on this Cardinal roster, with the one that he won last year, and again very well could win another this year.
And it's really invaluable what he brings to the squad. We're talking to Ollie before the game, Marmoda before the game. He's the guy that his ego isn't there. If you want him to lead off, he'll lead off. If you want him to hit ninth, he'll hit ninth. He's not going to cause any issues. He just wants to play winning baseball, and you need those kind of guys in your clubhouse.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Taylor. Taylor's been a versatile player for the Dodgers over the years, though he's played mostly left field this year. Fouls that one off at home plate. It was Taylor's home run in the wild card game last year that ended the Cardinals season. It was a great postseason for Taylor. At .355, drove in 12 runs and a 3-homer game in the National League Championship Series against Atlanta. Was rewarded with a good contract, and he has not performed quite the same this year. He strikes out swinging against Jose Quintana, who has set down 6 in a row to start the night. We'll go to the 3rd inning. Albert Pujold is due up third, sitting on 698 career home runs. We'll see Albert swing for 699 when we come back. Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by ZipRecruiter. I'm Wayne Randazzo alongside Chris Young, Russell Dorsey, and Tricia Whitaker here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. A scoreless game so far as Brendan Donovan takes a strike from Andrew Heaney. He struck out 3 in the first couple of innings. Donovan had a grand slam yesterday. The Cardinals break out of a bit of an offensive funk that they've been in for the last week. Hard hit, one hopper to Trey Turner here. Donovan has good speed, but Turner throws him out. Albert Pujold back in Los Angeles, greeted by some former Dodger teammates. Pujold felt revived as a Los Angeles Dodger last year. A hug for Brant Brown, one of the hitting coaches. Squeeze for Dave Roberts, who said before the game how much he loves Albert. Adrian Beltre is here, so is Dave Winfield. So you've got 3 members of the 3,000 hit club in attendance tonight between Beltre, Winfield, and that man, Albert Pujold. There's Big Dave Winfield. Tonight's odds courtesy of BetMGM. Will Pujold hit a homer? Bet the over, have some fun. 2 balls, no strikes on Tommy Edman. Albert Pujold on deck.
It's like you have to bet the over right there. You don't want to bet the under and win. You got to pull for it.
You'd be a real killjoy if you didn't.
And one thing, guys, Albert Pujold isn't a small man, but to see Dave Winfield walk up and make Albert look small.
Big Dave Winfield. Ball 4. Tommy Edman draws a walk, and that will bring up Albert Pujold.
Number 5, Albert Pujold.
It's been a week since Albert's last home run. 698 has been the number for a while. Heaney starts him off with a strike. Pujold has hit 19 home runs. He's hit 15 of them since July 10th. Seemed like 700 was out of the question. Now it's right around the corner. One ball, one strike. Pujold struck out his first time tonight. Hits it hard, foul down the third base line. Might have broken his bat too. He was out in front. So that bat will not produce career home run number 699. Maybe this one will. Albert recently passed Alex Rodriguez for 4th on the all-time home run list. 700 home run club only has 3 members: Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, and Babe Ruth. Pujold's 2 swings away from joining them. He drives this one. It's deep to left, and that is 699 for Albert Pujold. A no-doubter puts Pujold 1 home run away from 700. found his new best friend out there in left center field. Paul Goldschmidt gets hit by a pitch as Albert Pujold has hit his 699th career home run, his 20th of the year, and it was a smash.
Number 28, Arenado.
.434 feet. He's one away from 700. He's the coolest guy in the room right now. I think Andrew Heaney's a little rattled after giving up number 699.
Right here, Pujold working to a 1-2 count. We talked about it earlier, said he was going to be ready for that fastball, and he wasn't going to miss it. He finally earned the fastball in the 1-2 count and absolutely crushes this ball to left center field. 699. What is Father Time? It's not affecting Pujold right now. You see Dave Winfield absolutely loving it. Everybody's here tonight literally to see this moment right here, and Pujold delivers.
Now the focus turns to 700. It is worth noting that Albert did hit home runs 499 and 500 in the same game. So there's some precedent for Pujold to hit 2 in one night to reach a milestone. And it's only the third inning here tonight. 700 is certainly in play. Pop up on the infield. I don't know where Miguel Vargas was going. I'm not sure Trey Turner realizes it, but Turner makes the catch and Vargas goes back to first.
And you can see the entire bat. Pujold was trying to wait for that pitch. Heaney just missing a little bit over the plate, making a mistake down the middle. And Pujold, in the mindset that he's in right now, he's not going to make a mistake and miss that pitch.
And he got beat with a high fastball in the previous at bat to strike out, and you knew he wasn't gonna get beaten again up in the zone, and you figured this was the matchup for him. A guy who's heavy on the four-seamer. Albert looking for that pitch a lot right now. 699.
And he's going to have a couple matchups going into this series. You were watching who would he be facing. You see a couple lefties. You see Heaney. You see Kershaw. Kershaw and Albert were talking before the game, laughing and joking around. Kershaw saying, "Hey, I can't give it up to you, man." They're going to be battling back and forth tomorrow. Kershaw's excited about the opportunity to face him. And now with 699, that changes everything.
It's the 454th different pitcher that he's homered off of. Andrew Heaney, a former teammate of Pujold's, and he adds his name to the list. That is the most pitchers that one batter has hit home runs against all time.
And it has to be special for Albert to do this here in LA, because you can argue that LA is what kind of revived him. He was in a bad place with the Angels. It seemed like he was ready to get up out of there. The Dodgers gave him an opportunity, and he felt appreciated once again. He was taken in as family with this Dodgers organization, and that's what opened the door for this Cardinals to come back around for him.
Juan Yepez sends one fair down the left field line into the corner. Taylor slides to cut it off. He holds Goldschmidt at third by doing so. And Yepez has a double with 2 outs.
Number 3, Dylan Carl.
And Ieme is doing a good job. Ever since he's gotten back called up, he's been very valuable for this team when he's on the squad, taking that slider down and in, pulling it down the left field line, and that was a good hit. But Chris Taylor right here, making a great play, getting to the ball quick and getting it in with Paul Goldsmith on first base. He's one of the better base runners in the league, and a lot of guys are scoring right there, but Chris Taylor doing a great job cutting that ball off and getting it in.
Now Dylan Carlson with a chance to drive home a couple. Don't forget the Cardinals still need to win some games here. Their magic number is 5 to clinch the National League Central. So there's a lot of attention paid to Albert, but Oliver Marmol is waiting to pop some bottles too, not just for Albert, but for his team that's trying to win the National League Central again. The Cardinals would like a lead. Milwaukee did win earlier. They beat the Reds 5-3. Asked Oliver Marmol before the game today, do you just start to plan for October thinking that it's going to get done? He said nope. So you think about a little bit of it, you can kind of see how things will eventually turn, but you don't start really planning for that until the magic number is 0, and it's not yet. Not a bad opening act to steal a line from the guy who sat in this booth for a long time. For Oliver Marmol in his first season as Cardinals manager, they've won a whole lot of games to put themselves in position to win the division. Dylan Carlson strikes out, and the lead for St. Louis tonight has been given to them by Albert Pujold. He's 1 away from 700, his 699th career home run, a 434-foot majestic shot. It's the Cardinals a 2-0 lead. All-time home run leaders updated. Albert Pujold's 4th all-time with number 699 at the top of the 3rd inning tonight. They'll have a couple more swings to try to get 700 here this evening as the Cardinals now have the lead. Trace Thompson leads off the bottom of the 3rd against Jose Quintana. And we bring in a longtime teammate of Albert Pujold's, Adam Wainwright. Did you enjoy the show watching number 699 right there?
Hi guys, yeah, I've enjoyed the show all year long. It's been amazing. It's been amazing watching him play and still continue to contribute at the level he's doing. I mean, he's been one of our best hitters since the All-Star break, if not the best hitter we've had since the All-Star break. One of the best hitters in the league since All-Star break. So just incredible to see. a guy as talented as him, still working, grinding, still going out and working in the batting cages and putting the time in to still be great. You know, at his age, that's really a remarkable thing.
Bueno, Chris Young here, and I kind of want to follow up on that. With you knowing AP for so long, like, he's still hitting balls the same way as he was when he was a young man. So what have you noticed as far as how he's changed over the years?
Yeah, so he's, I mean, you know, he's got a little different stance, right? His stance is a little different than it used to be. He used to be real spread out. Now he's kind of more on that front leg. But you see his hands fly through the zone. What did he hit that ball? 109 miles an hour? I mean, you know, he's still hitting rockets all over the place. So we knew that in spring training. We saw his hands working, and they were still alive, and he was still driving the ball with such force to all fields. It was just incredible. Yesterday, that Marine layer in San Diego, he hit a ball 395 feet in the right center gap there. And you know how tough it is in San Diego to hit a ball out in right center, and he almost did it there too. So he still has the ability to go to all fields, but you know, that's the bread and butter to left field right there, and he really sent that one.
Adam, it's Russ Dorsey. This is a guy that you've known for the better part of 2 decades. Do you allow yourself to kind of sit and soak in a moment like we just saw and realize that that's not only your teammate, but a guy who's one of the all-time greats?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to stay in the moment during this whole ride with Yadi and Albert, this whole last season, where they're going out there and still contributing and still being awesome teammates and great friends, but it's fun.
Miguel Vargas lines a base hit to center. That's the first Dodger hit tonight after Quintana set down the first 7 to start this game. Adam, what about you? You know, Yadi and Albert have been pretty final about their decisions. They have said without question this is it. What about you? Do you have one more in you, or are you gonna go out with them?
You never know. Never know. If you hear something, let me know. You know what though? This year, watching them play and just, I mean, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of hoopla that comes around with announcing your retirement. So I think there's something beautiful to be said for doing that, but also something beautiful for not doing it. You know, there's these guys are way more talented than I am. I need a lot less distraction than that. You know, I need to sneak up on things that come good in my career. I just need to be one day at a time, but I'm enjoying watching them go, that's for sure.
Double play ball as Brendan Donovan throws to first, and Alberto hits into a double play. Adam Wainwright, you got off the hook.
1, 2, 3. Hey, have me up there anytime when we're pitching.
We'll see you up in this booth soon. Adam, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Wayno.
2-0, the Cardinals lead the Dodgers. Time for our weekly Siri trivia question. Just ask Siri, in what year was Albert Pujold drafted? Albert Pujold hitting his 699th home run tonight. Brendan Donovan looks, or rather Lars Nootbaar looks at a strike to begin the top of the 4th inning. Pujold's due up 5th here in the top of the 4th, so don't go away. 700 is certainly in play tonight. Nootbaar sends that one pretty deep, but Trace Thompson gets to it. And there's one away in the 4th. Phil Bickford is warming up in the Dodger bullpen, as the Cardinals have a 2-0 lead. And right now, Tricia Whitaker is standing by with Dodgers manager Dave Roberts.
You know what? I think Quintana has got good stuff tonight. I think he's doing a nice job of crowding the right-handers. He's striking his curveball, using a changeup when he needs to. Then he's got a two-seamer to go with it. So I think for us, it's just getting them up and trying to use the big part of the field.
You mentioned before the game, you didn't necessarily want to see him hit a home run against you guys, but if he did inch closer, you'd be the first person at the top of the steps cheering for him. What'd you think of his 699th home run?
Yeah, you know what? He just continues to make history in his chase for 700. So, you know, right there, he got into a decent count, and Andrew got him with a fastball at the belt. His first at bat, tried to go to the well one more time, and you know, Albert obviously put a really good swing on it.
Thank you so much for the time.
You got it.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Tricia, thank you very much. You know, these games are competitive. These two teams may play very competitive games against each other pretty soon. But Dave Roberts did not hide his love for Albert Pujold, what Albert meant to the Dodgers last year, and what the Dodgers meant to Albert last year. This is a special place to him, and he has given at least one special moment here tonight. There could be another to come today or this weekend.
And you know how much it means to him. You saw him before the game, behind the batting turtle, you know, really embracing all of his guys. It's a very similar experience that we saw in the Home Run Derby. In the Home Run Derby here, you saw how many people he's impacted over the years, how many people really enjoy being in his presence. And it tells you how good of a guy he is. And there's no way to fake that.
Kisner strikes out. Heaney with the high fastball. Strikeout number 5 for the Dodger lefty.
I think the other thing with Albert Pujold, you know, he signed with the Dodgers. Nobody knew what was going to come of the rest of Albert's career. Like many people out there, I would imagine, thought that it was over for Albert. So the fact that we're even in this position where when you call homer number 699, we could even see 700 tonight is amazing in and of itself.
It's another 20 homer year for Pujold. It's the 18th time he's hit 20 home runs in a season. I believe Ted Williams is the only guy to have done it in his first year and his last year the way that Albert has. Even on the Dodger game notes, the first headline, T.O. Albert's in town.
Uncle Albert. And what's so big about that, the 20 homer seasons, it doesn't just show how good of a player you are, it shows that you post. And it shows that you're able to go out there and play a lot of games every season, because if you have a lot of injuries, you're not able to put up numbers like that. And you're probably playing through some injuries sometimes. You know, I'm sure Albert, at his age right now, he's not feeling like a spring chicken. His body is still aching. He's still going through a big process to be able to go out there on the field, but he really wants it. Not only for himself, but more so for the team.
It's ball 4 to Brendan Donovan. It brings up Tommy Edman. And it puts Albert Pujold in the on-deck circle. So we'll see if Edman can reach to give Albert a chance here in the top of the 4th inning. Edman walked in front of Pujold in the 3rd. He scored on career home run number 699.
Well, I can tell you right now, there's no chance that Albert gets a chance to face Heaney one more time.
Doesn't seem like it. Phil Bickford continues to throw in the Dodger bullpen. Well, for all this happy talk from Dave Roberts, he's going to make it more difficult to put a tough right-hander, a hard thrower in Bickford in there, rather than leave in Heaney, a lefty. As we know, Albert has crushed left-handers.
And you can see with Heaney, it shook him a little bit. That home run clearly shook him a little bit to go out there and hit Goldie on the next pitch. It's not too many times here in Dodger Stadium that you feel like the road team. Dodger Stadium has a great fan base that really supports their team, and it takes somebody as special as Albert to be able to flip this fan base, even if it's for 1 or 2 at-bats.
Edman hits a ground ball foul. Part of it is the Dodgers have wrapped up just about as much as they can to this point. They've won the National League West. They will very likely be the #1 seed in the National League and throughout Major League Baseball in the postseason. The Dodgers will own the road to the World Series. So the fans here could be a little bit more reserved about what's happening on the field and just enjoy a great moment in baseball history. And Albert Pujold can really give us one here tonight if he swings for 700. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Tommy Edman with Albert on deck.
And it seems like every game that I've been watching leading up to this point, when Pujold hits a homer, it's not just some ho-hum homer in the game that doesn't matter. Every time it seems like he comes through, it's to take the lead, it's to tie the game. It's coming in situations where pitchers are going after him, really trying to get him out.
And you got to imagine that's helping to drive him right now. These games are important. He's playing for a team that's in it, looking to compete for an NL Central title, looking to make a deep run in the playoffs for this final season. You know that fuels him. See why you talk all the time about how he takes care of his body playing with him in LA. He's ready for this moment.
Tommy Edman with a line drive base hit. And Albert Pujold will bat here in the top of the 4th inning, and as CY predicted, here comes Dave Roberts. The fans are going to come to their feet, but they're going to be standing for a while because Andrew Heaney is very likely coming out of this game. Bickford is ready in the Dodger bullpen, and Dave Roberts will take the ball from Heaney, who only lasts 3 2/3 innings tonight. Gave up the home run to Pujold, and we'll see Albert swing for 700 against Phil Bickford in just a moment. Albert Pujold homered earlier tonight. As the Dodgers have changed pitchers, Phil Bickford enters the game. Bickford a 4.37 ERA on the year for LA, facing the great Pujold, who is 1 swing away from 700 career home runs. Strike 1 on a breaking ball from Bickford.
Phil Bickford has allowed 10 home runs this year. This entire ballpark is on its feet, holding its breath for Albert. Ball one. Pujold sends one in the air. It's deep to left. Taylor's back at the wall. It's 700. Albert Pujold has joined the 700 home run club. Albert Pujold has joined Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, and Babe Ruth as the only players to have hit 700 home runs in the big leagues. He hit 699 and 700 in the same game in back-to-back innings. He has driven in 5 runs. And isn't that perfect for number 5 to give the Cardinals a 5-0 lead with his 700th career home run here at Dodger Stadium. Pujold, as he touched home plate, ran right to Adrian Beltre. He high-fived the future Hall of Famer Beltre before going to his teammates, who all embraced Albert. Paul Goldschmidt strikes out as the top of the 4th inning brought us baseball immortality. History for Albert Pujold. The swing that produced career home run number 700. Number 5 is number 4 in the 700 home run club. His Cardinal teammates react as Albert Pujold greets the fans at Dodger Stadium, now a member of an all-time great home run club, number 700 for Albert Pujold.
Cardinals have a 5-0 lead against the Dodgers. It's the bottom of the 4th at Dodger Stadium. Albert Pujold has hit home runs number 699 and 700 tonight. 3,000 hits and 700 homers. Henry Aaron and Albert Pujold. And we were here to witness something that truly may not happen again in our lifetimes. This was really special. 2 balls, no strikes on Mookie Betts. The Dodger fans here eating up the moment just as much as the Cardinal fans and baseball fans watching Albert Pujold reach 700 home runs tonight. This was absolutely unforgettable, and to do it in one night, hit 2. He's done it before. Mookie takes a strike. Home runs 499 and 500 came in the same game for Albert Pujold when he was with the Angels. Approaching 500, he said he was feeling really good at the plate. He happened to hit 499 early in the game, and then 500 just kind of smoothly followed. That's basically what the blueprint was tonight. He did strike out in his first at bat tonight, but then got 699 in the 3rd. And after he launched that one against Heaney for 699, you just felt it in the air. 700 was going to happen tonight. And Phil Bickford hung a breaking ball, and Albert Pujold put one historic swing on it.
I would love to hear those conversations he's having with his teammates right now.
There's a drive in the air from Mookie Betts, but this one will not carry. It's the center fielder Dylan Carlson that makes the catch.
Phil Bickford opting to go with the slider right here in a similar location as Heaney's fastball was, but absolutely smashes this pitch to left field. You know it right off the bat, but you still got to make sure. And what a special moment for Pujold right here. All the pitchers that he's hit home runs off of, there's nobody he'll remember more than Phil Bickford.
The fan who caught it basically just won the lottery. Right?
Maybe they'll give it back to him, man. The fan who caught Judge's 60th gave it back, so we'll see.
Trey Turner with a fly ball to center. Carlson catches this one as well. There's 2 down.
Got Bonds, Henry Aaron, Babe Ruth, Albert Pujold. You're looking at one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time. See Beltre here. There's a lot of people smiling from ear to ear in the Dominican Republic right now.
And he's gotten that hug after every single home run he's hit with St. Louis, but none of them feel as good as that one right there.
Line drive over the head of the second baseman Donovan. And it's a base hit for Will Smith.
Oh, you just have that home run on replay. Just keep watching it over and over and over again. I feel like Pujold's is mine. Hey, the night's not over. Let's go ahead and hit another one. Why not?
He's got 700 now. Might as well just keep swinging and see what he can climb to. Yeah, it's kind of what we talked about earlier, CY, is that he was good with it no matter what number he landed at, because there's always something else behind it. If you think about 700 home runs, he's now got over 1,400 extra base hits. He's not that far away from Babe Ruth on the all-time home run list now. That's only 14 away. He's at 20 this year. So come back, catch the Babe next year, right? There's always something else.
And that's what makes it so hard to walk away, and that's why you just got to make that decision and be good with it. And what a special moment for everybody here in the ballpark tonight, though. Everybody watching at home.
guys, we made the joke before the game started. We had the 699 graphic ready. We had 700 ready, and I was just like, what about the 701 graphic? And here we are.
It's a good problem to have.
A good problem to have.
We know Albert pores over video and watches hours and hours of his at-bats.
But what you assume he's looking at is when you have a plan before the at-bat happens. He knows what he did the previous at-bat. He took that fastball in and was able to hit a home run. You know you're bringing in the righty. That's not going to groove you that same heater. So you're thinking in your head, if I'm going to get 700, it's going to be off of that slider. And that's just being a smart hitter and have done it 699 times before to know how to make that adjustment.
Justin Turner fouls one off. Now, if you're Phil Bickford, what's your thought coming into this game? Because you know Albert just hit 699. You know you're being brought in to try to stop him as a right-hander. It could not have been an easy moment for Bickford to go to the mound and face Pujols, knowing that 700 is right around the corner.
And you would think it hurts right now, but in a few days, I think you'll be all right. You'll see that clip forever.
Sure will. Justin Turner lines a base hit to right center. Will Smith will make it to third. The Dodgers, who have their largest comeback of the year against the Cardinals back in July. They were down 6-0 in that game. They came back and won 7-6. Far from out of it tonight, as they're down 5-0. And they've got men on the corners here in the fourth with 2 outs.
Like the Dodgers say, okay, the record's been broken. Now it's time for us to play some baseball. And this offense is nothing to sleep on. They always find a way to get themselves in a position to get back into the ball game.
Muncy with a drive toward left center. Carlson back near the wall makes the catch. Muncy gave it a good ride, but Carlson gets to it. Jose Quintana has posted 4 scoreless innings. It's been Pujols' night. The Cardinals lead by 5. All-time home run leaders updated again. 700 for Albert Pujold. He has reached that plateau. Only 3 others ever have. Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, Babe Ruth. The 700 home run club has grown to 4 tonight. And number 5, Albert Pujold, with 2 home runs in this game, numbers 699 and 700. The 700th coming off of that man, Phil Bickford. Researcher Craig Nordquist just sent me a note about the pitchers that have given up 700th home runs. There's only been 4. Bickford joins Jake Peavy, who allowed Barry Bonds' 700th. Ken Brett, the brother of George Brett, who allowed Henry Aaron's 700th. And Tommy Bridges gave up 700 to Babe Ruth.
Is that considered elite company?
Well, Jake Peavy won a Cy Young Award.
Absolutely.
Ken Brett's related to a Hall of Famer, so yeah, why not? Soft bouncer. Muncy with the play to first. A good play to retire Nolan Arenado. During the break, Tricia Whitaker caught up with Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol in this interview presented by ZipRecruiter.
We just watched something absolutely incredible. The guy's a legend. Just to watch his career and watch what he's been doing this year, the sacrifice, everything it takes to have that type of career is incredible. So to be able to sit in that dugout and watch it with the boys, it's a special night.
What was that reception like? The entire dugout came out to greet him. He came back out for a curtain call. The crowd was on their feet. What was that like to see?
Man, everybody in that dugout loves him. What he's done for everybody in here, just his leadership style, everything he does is incredible. So you're constantly rooting for this to take place. So we're glad it happened.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on witnessing history.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys, let's send it back to you.
Tricia, thank you very much. Oliver Marmol, the 36-year-old manager of the Cardinals, younger than like half his team. As Juan Yepez looks at a breaking ball strike from Bickford. He has come in and he's been on the Cardinals staff. He's been in the organization for a long time.
You know, Tricia ended that interview perfectly. Congratulations on witnessing history. Like, this is history. This is a special moment that everybody here is able to share with Pujold. This is a day he'll never forget.
Well, that's a day that pretty much nobody in this ballpark will ever forget. Dodger Stadium has seen some incredible moments over the years. Third oldest ballpark in Major League Baseball. It has been part of plenty of historic moments. Think about one between the Cardinals and the Dodgers here. Fernando Tatis hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning in this ballpark as a St. Louis Cardinal. High throw from Muncy. That went into the screen, which they're going to say is in play. The umpires might need to talk about that as that ball goes into the screen, into the netting above the right field side. And Max Muncy with a throwing error.
It's like you have to play before where you're running and you have to get rid of it quickly. Sometimes when you have too much time, it gives you a chance to think about your throw. And right here, he's watching the runner, tries to rush it just a little bit and leaves it up high. That's just a mental mistake right there, and he'll be able to get past it, but he knows that's a mental error.
That netting is considered out of place. So that is a 2-base error. They put Juan Yepez at second base. The Dodgers have made a couple of errors now tonight. Dylan Carlson hammers one toward right field. Mookie Betts can't reach it. Goes over his head. Around third, coming home to score is Yepez. Betts with a good throw to second, but Carlson's in there. It's an RBI double. First run driven in by someone other than Pujold tonight, and it's 6-0 St. Louis.
Carlson doing a great job smashing this ball to right field, and if you hit a ball to right field and Mookie Betts does not catch it, that means it was an uncatchable ball right here. Mookie's playing deep right there, but Carlson hits it so hard that he's not able to get to it, and then he's hustling right out the box. So make sure you get it to second, because with Mookie throwing, he's going to put it right there on the money. You got to earn that double. Right here,
gets a great jump on the ball. Sometimes it's just too much exit velo right there, but if he's able to field it that first time off the wall, he's going to have to play at second base, but that slight bobble, not being able to pick it up cleanly, allows Carlson to get to second base.
No balls, 2 strikes on Lars Nootbaar, who doubled earlier. Phil Bickford, a former first-round pick a couple of times. He was drafted out of Oaks Christian High School in California by the Blue Jays as a first-round pick in 2013. Then he went to college. The Giants drafted him as a first-round pick in 2015. He came to the Dodgers from Milwaukee, really made a couple of big league appearances, had a pretty good season last year. One thing that's been sort of a problem for Bickford this year is he's given up some home runs. He's allowed 11 in 60 innings this year. And he gives them another one right here. Lars Nootbaar has hit one into the seats in right. It is a 2-run homer, and it is all Cardinals here at Dodger Stadium tonight. 8-0 St. Louis. Lars Nootbaar just hit that one 440 feet. It's his 14th home run. I think that home run's going to be replayed a little bit less than the others we've seen tonight. Lars Nootbaar is happy. So is Turner Ward, one of the Cardinals hitting coaches.
You look at this ball by Lars Nootbaar, absolutely hammered. Gets a cement mixer out over the plate, 2-strike count, does not miss it. Way back there and right.
Yeah, if you're a Bickford, you're a 2-pitch pitcher, a 4-seam slider. If that slider isn't sliding, it could be a lot of trouble for you.
Kisner floats one toward Mookie and right. Right now we will head to our studio for an update with Sierra Santos.
Hey guys, the A's hosting the Mets. Visitors with the bases juiced. Eduardo Escobar with the grand slam that made it 7-0 Mets. It is 9-1 right now in the bottom of the 8th. In the Mile High City, Padres and Rockies knotted up in extras. 1 out for Alan Trejo in the bottom of the 10th. The Rocks walking it off. Philly jumps San Diego for the second wild card spot. 3-2 or 4-3 your final, Wayne.
All right, Sierra, thank you very much. The Padres do fall into that 6th spot for now in the National League postseason picture as the Phillies leapfrog the Padres tonight. So that means San Diego would be the Cardinals' opponent if the season ended today in the National League wild card round. For the Cardinals, I'm not sure what's the direction you want to see happen there, because the Padres in a short series, they still could be pretty scary. Soto lights up a couple. They've got the great starting pitching. Might not be an easy road for the Cardinals in that wild card round if they do draw the Padres. Not that it'd be easy against the Phillies either. Brendan Donovan strikes out. That's what the postseason's all about. Competition ramps up as Lars Nootbaar ramped up a 2-run homer for the Cardinals in the top of the 5th. It has been all St. Louis tonight. It is 8-0 Cardinals. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus is presented by SoFi. Bank, borrow, and invest all in one app. And sponsored in part by Oris, a 118-year-old independent Swiss watchmaker setting the new standard. And by Hotels.com. Find your perfect somewhere. It's been a perfect night for the St. Louis Cardinals in this perfect baseball setting of Dodger Stadium. Chris Taylor looks at a strike from Jose Quintana. 8-0. St. Louis has the lead. And this place still buzzing over what Albert Pujold has done, hitting career home runs 699 and 700. Taylor swings through a curve from Quintana, who has been in command tonight. And peeling back from the Pujold setting is Jose Quintana, again having a very good outing for the Cardinals. Taylor takes ball one, but St. Louis is 8-1 and Quintana's 9 starts for them since he was traded from Pittsburgh, and seems well on his way to being the Cardinals being 9-1 in his 10 starts since coming over.
Yeah, if you're Quintana, you're like, I got the easy job tonight. Just go out there, put the ball, fill up in the strike zone, and let Albert and the boys do some damage.
And Quintana, he was really good in Pittsburgh this year. He was having a really good season, but it's something about that Cardinals organization, working with Yachty, working with their pitching staff, that makes guys better. Seeing what he was able to do when he came over, seeing what Montgomery was able to do with working with Yachty, it's been impressive.
Chris Taylor strikes out.
Going through the at-bats of Pujold tonight, he came in with the plan on what he was going to do to him. He went with the slider first pitch, then he's throwing the fastball in off the plate. That's how he wants to use it. He goes back to the slider, then he's trying to go heater up and in. But you see right here, if you're trying to go in on Pujold, you better get it in there. He misses right across the middle of the plate right here, and that ball gets absolutely crushed.
Trace Thompson looks at a curveball for strike one.
And with some guys having some days off today, this is the part of lineup to where it's not a trial and error. This is a test for these players at the bottom of the lineup to see what can you do against big left-handed pitching. Because all this information Dave Roberts is able to use moving forward with Freeman out, with Bellinger out, with Lux out tonight of the lineup. Dave Roberts is paying a lot of attention to Thompson, Vargas, Alberto to see what they do in these situations, because you're trying to look and see what your playoff roster is going to look like and who you're going to put out there in a big game against the lefty.
He's testing and he's evaluating constantly as they move toward the postseason. That's what he told us before the game. And as we talk about that, well, Craig Kimbrel is warming up in the bullpen right now for the Dodgers in a game where LA's trailing by 8 in the 5th inning. Kimbrel was removed from being the Dodgers closer before the game officially today, after he let one get away last night, at least momentarily, until the Dodgers came back and won. But that's exactly what Dave Roberts means when he says they are in a test and evaluation mode right now here in the last couple of weeks of the season, because they have to think about what their postseason roster looks like to optimize their chances of winning playoff games, as Thompson flies out to Lars Nootbaar in right field. And as Kimbrel warms up, we send it downstairs to Tricia Whitaker.
Yeah, guys, as you mentioned, Dave Roberts did announce that Craig Kimbrel will not be their closer moving forward. He said it will be closer by committee from here on out. He said they'll look for other roles to use him in for the rest of the regular season. He did not speak to the postseason, said he would rather not say now, but he did say that when he spoke to Kimbrel, he had openness to what's best for the team, and he doesn't worry that it's going to affect his routine, not in that closer role. And he said Kimbrel looks at it as a challenge, and he said that speaks to who he is as a teammate, guys.
Tricia, thank you very much. We look at Mark Pryor, where Kershaw's got his head in the way, but Mark Pryor behind Kershaw, the Dodger dugout. Mark Pryor is pitching coach of the Dodgers. Backhand stop by Arenado. Nobody does it better than him. And he gets Miguel Vargas by an eyelash at first on a close play. Arenado with the backhand, the throw from across his body all the way from coast to coast. Will Smith checking the replay review
Normally that's Bob Guerin's job, as Arenado made the backhand pick. Took a little bit of extra time to get it across the diamond, but it looks like that time was allotted to him. The Dodgers will not challenge, and this inning comes to an end. Arenado to Goldschmidt. Close play, but the Cardinals have the lead. It is 8-0 as we head to the 6th inning in LA. Let's find out the answer to our trivia question. The St. Louis Cardinals drafted Albert Pujold in what year? He was a 13th round pick, if you believe that, in 1999. Here we are 23 years later, and Albert Pujold has hit 700 major league home runs. Probably the greatest 13th round draft pick of all time, right?
I want to know how many guys they passed up on to get to him.
Even the Cardinals did it a dozen times as Tommy Edman looks at a strike. Edman has scored both times on 699 and 700 tonight. As we look at Craig Kimbrell in an unusual role, coming into an unusual song. He has gotten rid of Sweet Child of Mine, and he's come in to Let It Go from Frozen. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tommy Edman.
At this point, we hit on a little bit last inning. Dave Roberts experienced this with Jansen at some points, you know, where you see a closer that's struggling in certain situations, and you're like, you got to let the egos go. We got to find a way to get you back right for the playoffs.
Fly ball to Chris Taylor in left, and there's 1 away.
And make sure you can be used as need be.
One of 4 men to hit 700 home runs in the big leagues. Albert Pujold launched number 699 in the 3rd inning tonight, number 700 in the 4th. Facing Kimbrell, hits a ground ball to short. And Gavin Lux, who has come into play shortstop, throwing out Pujold for the 2nd out.
The ball hit hard right there, but let's go to the 2nd homer of the night. With Bickford coming in, he saw the home run off the fastball. He says, let's go with the slider. Let's try it 3 times in a row, but on that 3rd one, you may not get it back. Missing on the inside of the plate, and Pujold clearing his hips, driving that ball out of left field. and making somebody a whole lot of money out there, whoever caught that ball. Pujold in his prep on every at-bat, you can tell that he's thinking right along with the pitcher. And you have nights like that where you walk to the plate, and what you're thinking the pitcher is going to do, he's doing it. Even right there with Kimbrel, he knew he was going to come with that first pitch fastball, and he took a chance and tried to jump on it, hit it hard, but ended up hitting the ground ball to shortstop.
2 out, Paul Goldschmidt at the plate. 2 balls, no strikes on him. Pujols has 2 home runs tonight, when a combined 823 feet, which I'm told is more feet than the Gateway Arch takes up. Is that right? Paul Goldschmidt with a fly ball. And Chris Taylor will handle this. So a clean inning for Kimbrel, only 7 pitches. And it's 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th. Cardinals lead 8-0. Albert Pujols has hit 2 homers. The bats telling him that history was going to be made tonight. 700 home runs for Albert Pujols.
Listening for that good wood right there. You can hear your bats and let them talk back to you.
Jose Quintana out there with an 8-run lead, thanks in large part to Albert Pujols, who's 2 home runs tonight, which have given him 700 in his major league career. Hanser Alberto is the batter. Little tapper, tough play. Quintana handles it toward first, off the glove of Goldschmidt. And Hanser Alberto should have an infield hit to begin the bottom of the 6th inning. Quintana did just about everything right except put it in a spot where Goldschmidt could catch it.
And Quintana, one of the more athletic pitchers in the game. He's able to bounce off the mound, get to the ball, doesn't really rush his throw. He gets his feet under him, and he just literally just pulls this ball a little bit. And Goldie, most importantly, finds a way to get out the way as quick as possible, because you want to come out of this play in one piece. But he's not quite able to scoop that ball because he's trying to get out the way for Alberto, who's not a small man running down that line. You don't want to have a collision right there.
Mookie Betts couldn't hold his swing as he gets called for a strike by the home plate umpire Mike Estabrook. ball and 1 strike. See why you ever any parts of history like what we saw tonight, not a 700th homer necessarily, but any big moments that you were on the field for that you remember?
I do. I was lucky to play. I played with Jeter in his last season. I was there for the last hit at Yankee Stadium. I played with David Ortiz in his last season. I mean, these were historical times for me as a player, and I can imagine what those guys in the Cardinals dugout are going through, being a part of this moment, seeing the media follow you everywhere you go, having so much pressure on you on every single at-bat where everybody is in the stadium is looking for one result from you and one result only. And it's a fun ride to be a part of. Yes, you have the player that's going through it, but it's the entire squad that's living that dream with you in those moments. And with the great players, it seems like they always get it done. They always step up. When it seems like the odds are against them, you're facing a righty, your numbers aren't good off righties, none of that matters anymore. You're Albert Pujold in a huge situation, and you're going to come through, just like Jeter, just like Ortiz.
Mookie Betts strikes out. What do you think a player like Mookie, and he's frustrated after the strikeout, but a great player in his own right, a guy who's going to do a lot of special things in this game and already has. What can he take away from watching a guy like Albert at the end of his career have a moment like that?
Yeah, you watch those situations. You watch what it turns into when you go about your business the right day in and day out. No. You're not going to get it all in 1 year. It takes a lot of time and hard work and dedication and being able to stay on the field to build up these type of numbers. And Mookie, he's in a situation to where he's going to be a Dodger for a long time. Anytime you get a long-term deal, that is your opportunity to be able to accumulate those numbers. And seeing him on the field this year, he was dealing with the bone spurs in his hip last season, and you could tell it affected one. Seeing him on the field healthy, you can see what type of production he can do year in and year out. He's just such a dynamic player, can play all over the field. Russ and Mookie were talking earlier about, you know, his positioning, playing right field. If he wanted to, he can go in and play second base. Just it's not too many superstar players that are that versatile in the field.
This is Gavin Lux, who did not start this game, came in for Trey Turner at shortstop once the Cardinals had a big lead here. So Trey Turner gets off his feet a little bit. Lux could be the shortstop of the Dodgers next year anyway. Trey Turner goes somewhere else, and the Dodgers decide to stay in-house to replace him. So Lux is playing short tonight, at least for the rest of this game, and batting for the first time here.
Is there any situation, Russ, that you see Mookie being an everyday second baseman for the Dodgers again?
Absolutely not. No. Me personally, I don't think so. Because I think when you look at Mookie Betts and the value that he brings playing a not just Gold Glove caliber right field. He's the best right fielder in baseball that we've seen in the last decade. Right? You put him and Jason Hayward together in their primes. But even talking to Mookie today about it, he was giddy, absolutely giddy talking about playing second base.
Gavin Lux with a base hit as Alberto goes to second.
Do you think he could be a Gold Glove second baseman?
Yes. If I had to bet on somebody to do it because of how absolutely athletic he is, I believe he could be a Gold Glove caliber second baseman. But the value that he brings you, being a generational talent in the outfield, it wouldn't be worth it to me to put him at second base, and then also the risk of injury if somebody takes him out at second, trying to turn the pivot at second. Yes, he's going to be an all-world talent offensively at second, but just that value is not enough to say, okay, I'll move him to second as opposed to the out.
So you're saying it's more analytically driven on how you're more valuable in right field than you are in second base because of defensive run saves and those numbers like that?
I think that's part of it. I think it all plays into the equation of how do we get the most out of our superstar right fielder or a superstar player in Mookie Betts.
Will Smith fouls a pitch back. Mookie Betts, 5th round pick of the Red Sox, won the MVP for Boston. The trade to the Dodgers and a big extension after, which will keep him in LA for a long time. I love that his name, his real given name is Marcus Lynn Betts. His initials are MLB. Isn't that perfect for a guy who was really one of the faces of MLB?
Absolutely.
And I think it was intentional. This was meant to be for him. It was a great family. Mother grew up as a bowler. Mookie's an amazing bowler. One of those guys that can do it all, unfortunately, which I hated as a teammate because I always thought I was the guy who can win in all the random games until I ran across Mookie. I saw him on the ping pong table, saw him on the bowling alley, saw him on the golf course, unfortunately.
Bouncer to third. Arenado steps on the back, tosses it across. Goldschmidt digs it out for the double play. The brilliance of the Cardinal defense on the corners. Nolan Arenado, a 9-time Gold Glove winner, stepping on third, chucking it across, and the 4-time Gold Glover, Paul Goldschmidt, with the scoop for an inning-ending double play. Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by ZipRecruiter. I'm Wayne Randazzo alongside Chris Young, Russell Dorsey, and Tricia Whitaker here at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. MLB celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing the contributions made to our game by the Latino baseball community, past and present. Follow Los Mayores and MLB and visit losmayores.com for full coverage. It is 8-0 in favor of the Cardinals. Nolan Arenado 0 for 3 tonight. Takes a breaking ball from the new Dodger pitcher. It is lefty Caleb Ferguson, who's had a really nice season for LA. A 1.45 ERA in his 32 games. Dodgers trying to figure out what their pitching staff will look like for the National League Division Series. As Arenado grounds one foul. Well, what do they gain from watching Craig Kimbrell work a 7-pitch, 1-2-3 inning in a game that's an 8-run deficit for them?
I think every time he can go out there and be successful and put up zeros, that earns Dave Roberts' confidence back. That earns his team's confidence back, and that earns his own confidence. You have to be successful in different situations to be able to earn that confidence. A lot of people.
In the air for Chris Taylor in left center field to retire Arenado.
When you walk out there and you're throwing 97 and you have a nasty hook, everybody assumes that you're just going to be confident going into the game, but bad outing after bad outing, it hurts you. And you need to have some positive reinforcement built in there to be able to earn that back and be ready to come through in those big-time situations when your team needs you. But he has the stuff. Craig has done it for a long time. He's one of the best closers of all time. he uses his last couple weeks to try to figure out and lock it in.
One out, nobody on as Juan Yepez bats.
Because Dave Roberts made it very clear. It doesn't matter at this point of the season the name that's on the back of the jersey. All that matters is putting the best team together that can carry us all the way to the ship. So egos have to be set aside, and you have to earn your spot. No matter what you've done in the past, you have to earn your spot to be on this squad in the postseason. And I understand that.
He said right now the closer will be just matchup based. You know, it hurts them not having Blake Trinan. He's hurt right now. And they've had some other injuries too along the way. Tommy Kahnle could be a big part of their bullpen in the back end at the moment, along with Evan Phillips, who's had a real good year. But if they need to use Phillips in a big spot in the 6th or the 7th inning in a playoff game, they'll do that. Yepez with a drive toward the left field corner. If it's fair, it is gone, and that's another home run for the Cardinals tonight. This one comes from Juan Yepez. That's his 12th of the year. St. Louis has hit 4, including Pujols' 699th and 700th homers. And it is 9-0 in favor of the Cardinals. This is a rare game where the Dodgers are just on the wrong side of the blowout.
This home run seems like it was something based on the scouting report, because watching Yepez with 2 strikes on him, was able to clear his hips and be ready for that fastball on the inner half of the plate. Normally you're in protection mode. You see him pointing over to the dugout. I want to say there's been a conversation of how he likes to attack hitters with 2 strikes, because Yepez was ready for that fastball right there.
Yeah, he was sitting fastball. There was no doubt about it. As you said, CY got the bat head out in front quick. Knew right away what he wanted to do out the hand.
It's only been 1 game this year in which the Dodgers have allowed double-digit runs. They've given up 9 tonight. That was on May 13th against the Phillies. They allowed 12.
And right here on 2 strikes, it's not too many times that you see a guy, he's shortened up so much, and he was racing to the punch right there. And he beat Ferguson to the punch on that pitch. It's almost like he was looking for a fastball. He gave up on the breaking ball and said, you know what? I'm going to sell out for this heater, even though it's 2 strikes. If you strike me out, you strike me out. But if you throw this fastball, I'm going to be ready for it.
Carlson shoots one toward the right field line. That's a base hit. Betts able to cut it off. But Dylan Carlson still able to get to second base with his 2nd double of the night.
And Carlson doing a great job, really making Mookie work here from both sides of the plate, challenging Mookie in right field. Mookie doing a great job being able to cut this ball off, but running full speed, you literally can't pivot and turn that quick. And Carlson, being a good runner, easily able to get over to second base. But this is what the Cardinals have needed. They've been leaning on Goldschmidt so much, leaning on Arenado. And if you can have 9 runs on the board with Goldie and Arenado both 0 for 3 and 0 for 4 in today's game, you're in a good place, because this offense has been struggling as of late. And these are the type of games that you need to be able to get out of it. You need Carlson balling. You need Nootbaar stepping up. You need Edman getting hits. That's the only way that this offense is going to be able to push through the postseason and put up a lot of runs.
They had a bad week offensively, really, up until yesterday. They went 47 innings without scoring an earned run until the home run by Nootbaar yesterday, and then the grand slam by Donovan. Pujols has broken out and busted up the offense tonight. Nootbaar with a ground ball base hit. Carlson's come on his way to the plate. And the Cardinals put up a 10 spot on the Dodgers tonight. It's the 2nd time this season LA's allowed 10 runs in a game. And Lars Nootbaar's driven in 3.
And Ferguson. Been having a really good season this year, but these Cardinals, they're seeing everything that he's throwing. They've hit the fastball. Here's the curveball right here. Newbar staying through the middle of the field, continuing to put together quality at-bats. And yeah, it's all fun in games when Pujols is hitting his homers, but when you're the Dodgers, you're trying to play a certain brand of baseball. You don't care what the standings say. You don't care that you have it locked in. We're trying to play the same brand of baseball day in and day out, and nobody likes getting this many runs put on the board against them.
And I think the other thing for the Dodgers, C.Y., as you talk about that, you want to be playing your best brand of baseball going into October. You want to be speeding through and hitting the crescendo as we get to the postseason. So these games still matter. Yes, they've clinched everything, but you want to be playing really good baseball.
Newbar, he's been playing really well as of late, getting hot at the right time. Here's an at-bat yesterday off of Musgrove, driving it to right field. These are really good pitchers that he's finding success against. And then tonight, once again, coming through, taking this slider, hanging slider, and driving it to right field. Very similar area, just a lot deeper. And Newbar is one of those guys, plays great defense, has a strong arm, swinging the bat well.
Taylor makes the clutch on that fly ball off the bat of Kisner. There's two down here in the seventh. Lars Nootbaar went to Driveline during the pandemic in 2020 when the minor league season got canceled. Spent pretty much the entire summer at Driveline, improving his speed, his bat speed, improving his swing. He gained 8 miles an hour of bat speed in that 1 year. It's turned him into a completely different hitter.
With all the resources that guys have available in today's game, when you see a player who's struggling or going through a funk, it almost is mind-boggling if in the offseason they don't go to these types of places and try to make these adjustments or think that they already have it figured out. There's too many resources out there nowadays to not go out there and try to work on your game. And it's proven to work.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
And guys, to your point, this is a guy who never hit more than 7 homers in his minor league career. Goes, makes that adjustment, and he's sitting here with 15 homers and counting.
In the big leagues. He was not even producing close to that in the minor leagues.
Right.
And he's come to the major league level and has upped his game, and he's upped the Cardinals' offense too. Nootbaar has really come into his own this season. He made Harrison Bader expendable. The Cardinals used Bader as a tool to improve their starting pitching, which they needed to get Jordan Montgomery from the Yankees, and he's done mostly a good job since coming from the Yankees to St. Louis.
And I imagine it's different for facing Nootbaar right now, where before talk about him going to Driveline and working on that swing to get the bat speed up. Those singles and doubles are now doubles and homers over the wall. He's looking to do damage.
Yeah, it's just a different threat.
You can tell from the swings tonight, he's looking to do damage when he gets those pitches in the zone.
Brendan Donovan slashes one down the left field line for a base hit. Nootbaar races to third. He'll be held there. Donovan has a double. And the Cardinals are swatting around a Dodger pitching staff that has been by far and away the best in baseball this year. And St. Louis has put up 10 runs on 11 hits.
Number 19, Tommy Edman.
You have these nights every now and then where everything just comes together and the entire offense clicks at the same time. And they're just swapping spots. Goldie and Arenado have been doing their part all season long. So the rest of the crew, maybe they saw the open and said, you know what? Maybe we should step it up today and carry the load for one day. Give these guys a day off. And Wayne, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, this is no slouch of a bullpen that the Dodgers have. These are all guys who have been pitching very well as of late. And these Cardinals have put together great at-bats tonight. maybe the adrenaline that Pujold brought with the energy that he brought to the stadium today, going for that homer, going for the 2 homers, being able to come through in this situation, hearing this crowd go crazy. Players feed off of that energy, and it builds, and you see it's benefiting the Cardinals tonight.
Albert will be coming out of the game. There's a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle as Alec Burleson will bat for Pujold.
Well, that's one way to get some boos here.
Well, Albert came when he came. He did what he came here to do. That's for sure. He has put up home runs 699 and 700 tonight.
We've been spoiled tonight. We want more. We want more.
701. I want to see the graphic.
It was his 65th career multi-home run game, which is 5th all time. Tommy Edman strikes out looking, so Alec Burleson will have to wait until the 8th inning. Cardinals score more runs, and they've added to an already big lead. Stretch time in LA. It's 10-0 St. Louis.
I'm Sierra Santos with an in-studio update. Let's get you caught up on the NL wildcard picture. Phillies piling it on the Braves. Rhys Hoskins with a 2-run homer, his 29th of the year. That made it 6-0. Philly beats up on Atlanta 9-1. Brewers at Reds. Andrew McCutchen doubles on a liner to left. That drives in 2. McCutchen was hit with his 1,000th career RBI in his previous at-bat. Make it 1,001, 1,002. Brew Crew takes it 5-3. Wayne, let's send it back to you.
All right, Sierra, thank you very much. Look above Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Jose Quintana has had a smooth night against the Dodgers. There has been a Cardinal rout this evening. 10-0 St. Louis. Cardinals making a lot of changes with some of their regulars coming out. Goldschmidt comes out of the game. Yepes goes to first. Austin Barnes batting here in the bottom of the 7th in place of Justin Turner. Cardinals, as long as they hang on, which they should, will lower their magic number to 4 to clinch the National League Central over the Milwaukee Brewers, who also won tonight. Cardinals have a 10-0 lead. Pujold has driven in half the runs. And Oliver Marmol can just relax through this one as the Cardinals move their way to win number 89. Closing in on another division championship year. Austin Barnes swings through a curveball. And this is the 15th straight year the Cardinals have had a winning record, which is tied for the longest streak in National League history.
Seeing this, the position that they're in right now, talking to Marmo before the game, I think when you look and see how this team is built, these are the type of outings you're going to need from your starters going into the playoffs. Quintana having a great game his last outing against Cincinnati, going 8 innings. The game before at Pittsburgh. And him being able to go 6, 7, 8 innings, being able to shorten the game as much as possible before you get to that bullpen is going to be huge. Right now, with Jordan Hicks down, that extends the game and extends how long that starter needs to stay in the game. So if Hicks is able to come back, you would ideally like to make this a 6-inning game to where you could bring in Palante, go to Hicks, go to Gallegos, and get to Helsley. And if you put yourself in that situation, you can live with whatever happens after that. But with the starters, they have to be able to go 5 or 6 innings leading into the playoffs, and Quintana's doing a great job with that tonight.
Jose Quintana has some postseason experience on the 2017 Chicago Cubs, pitched here in the National League Championship Series that year. Cubs got Quintana for Eloy Jimenez and Dylan Cease, who have turned into impact players for the White Sox. Cease, a Cy Young contender this year. So the Cubs really thought highly of Quintana at that time because of that ability to be durable, mix up his speeds, change his locations up, and go deep into important games. And that's why the Cardinals traded a couple of minor league players, or at least a guy who's kind of a fringe between the minors and the majors, and Yohan Oviedo, a guy who's got a big arm, certainly can turn into a very good pitcher in Pittsburgh. And Quintana has come to St. Louis to stabilize the rotation, and he has. His lefty Zach Thompson is getting ready in the Cardinal bullpen with Quintana nearing 100 pitches. Quintana in his last start went 8 scoreless innings. That was his longest outing in 5 years. Threw 104 pitches in that game. He's at 99 right now for this one.
No walks. Extremely impressive. Yes, it was Cincinnati, but still, you still got to go out there and take care of business.
Well, this has been just as impressive, if not more so, because it's the Dodgers. 6 1/3 scoreless innings tonight. A full count on Muncy here, 3-2. The Cardinals didn't make the big splash at the trade deadline. You know, the Mariners got Luis Castillo. The Yankees got Frankie Montas, but maybe somewhat quietly, the Cardinals bringing in Quintana and Montgomery just to give them a couple more steady parts in their rotation. But with Wainwright, Flaherty's back now, Miles Michaelis. Muncy swings and misses, and Quintana continues to roll. That's his 6th strikeout, 2 in a row to start the 7th. Albert Pujold's career home run number 700 tonight. Part of that included his 20th home run of this year. And for players who went at least 10 seasons, only Ted Williams and Albert Pujold with 20 home runs in each their first and last seasons. What a moment tonight for Albert, for everybody here at Dodger Stadium, as Pujold reached 700 home runs and Jose Quintana reached 6 2/3 scoreless innings against one of the best offenses in baseball. Brilliant performance by Quintana. He gives way to a reliever, Zach Thompson. The left-hander will come in as the Cardinals lead 10-0 here in LA.
room cause we moving in, yeah. This time I came with friends, yeah. With my team we aim to win, yeah. Right now the show begins. Time to go. It's time to go right now. Get ready.
We saw history tonight. Albert Pujold with 700 career home runs. He hit number 700 in the 4th inning off of Dodger reliever Phil Bickford. And that historic swing, Pujold putting himself in the 700 home run club, joining Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, and Babe Ruth. We came here tonight almost tongue-in-cheek, thinking, it's 2 home runs. We'll see it. We'll be here for 700. Well, he hit a ball in the 3rd inning, 430-some feet, way out into the gallery in left center field. A no-doubt blast that got him at 699. Suddenly 700 seemed really real. And then Phil Bickford hung a breaking ball that Pujold hit into the seats in left center field. To a fan that I believe decided to keep the ball, from what I'm seeing on social media. And I think that's the right move for that young man who caught the ball. Jose Quintana enjoying the show. There's Willie McGee right there, a longtime member of the Cardinals organization, a great player in his own right.
Somehow, some way, I hope that Pujold is the one who ends up with the ball, though. No matter how it gets to him, whatever has to be worked out, I understand. But you want Pujold to be able to take that ball to the house. Worked a long time to earn that ball.
Sure did. We said it in the Open today, about 21 years. How many months and how many days as Pujold has hit exactly 500 home runs off of right-handers and 200 off of lefties. Got 1 each tonight. Got Andrew Heaney, the lefty, in the 3rd, and then Bickford, a right-hander, in the 4th. As Taylor hits a fly ball that will get out of play. But Albert on July 9th was hitting under 200 with 4 home runs. It was about halfway through the season. And then all of a sudden, it was much of that series against the Dodgers at Busch Stadium back in St. Louis earlier this year. Albert starting to hit a couple of home runs, got his swing back a little bit going into the All-Star break, and then just took off after the break. He has hit 17 home runs in his last 53 games at age 42.
Yeah, he was the one guy that the home run derby energized. A lot of other guys kind of went the other way. Soto went the other way after the derby. Julio Rodriguez dealing with some injuries after the derby. Pujold, he feels better than ever.
It's really been a remarkable run. He didn't need it, right? He could have had a Hall of Fame career, first ballot, 3,000 plus hits, all-time this, all-time that. But there's just something special about Albert being back with the Cardinals, back in St. Louis, to make this run for 700 homers, to play with Molina and Wainwright again as they got to their own record this year for the most starts together by a battery mate. As Trace Thompson takes ball 1, and Albert found his way, got to 700 home runs, has helped this Cardinal team get in position to win the National League Central, and his final swings will come in the postseason.
And guys, something really cool. Albert tonight homered off of his 454th and 455th different pitcher in his career. That's the most by anybody ever. Just keep adding it to the resume.
Barry Bonds had the previous record for that. This night has become all about Albert. 11-time All-Star, 3-time MVP. The Rookie of the Year in 2001. If it weren't for Bonds' 73 homers that year, Albert probably would have been the MVP in his rookie year. He was dominant from the get-go. And it was really those first several years as a Cardinal, a decade's worth of dominance, as Nolan Arenado has dominated the third base position in his first decade in the major leagues, and he makes that play there. But the swing everyone will be talking about off the bat of Albert Pujold tonight.
His 700th career home run has helped the Cardinals out to a 10-0 lead in LA. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus is presented by ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And sponsored in part by SoFi, bank, borrow, and invest all in one app. And by Oris, a 118-year-old independent Swiss watchmaker setting the new standard. Hanser Alberto is pitching here in the 8th inning. The Dodgers, with this game out of hand, will have a position player, I guess, pitch the last 2 innings of this game. And Alberto trying to get it close to home plate with Albert Pujold batting in place of Pujols. Burleson, a prospect who's got a big bat. At .331 in the minor leagues this year. Will take some swings against Hanser Alberto here. First time that Alberto has pitched this year. Chris Taylor's now at second base. Trace Thompson moves to left field, and Cody Bellinger has come into play center. And Alec Burleson sends this one deep into the California night. It is 11-0 Cardinals. And Alec Burleson, on a night where Albert Pujold has hit his 700th home run, Burleson has hit his first major league homer. It comes off a third baseman.
There's not too many guys that probably we need to look up that stat. How many players have hit their first home run off another position player? Yeah, he has big time power. He had 20 home runs in AAA in Memphis this year. He's able to show off that power in an odd situation tonight.
Only 699 behind Albert.
But you'll take it though.
Headed into the Cardinal bullpen, so unlike Albert, maybe not seeing home run ball number 700 ever again, Burleson will probably get that baseball. And after a brief silent treatment, he's now getting handshakes and high fives from his teammates.
Right here, you see the old ethos being used right here. Burleson doing a good job smacking that ball. I mean, this is just BP right now. This is probably actually harder to hit than BP when somebody's throwing that slow. You being a young player, you still have the adrenaline flowing, even though it's a blowout game. In your own mind and heart, your heart's beating fast for these at-bats still.
Batter here is Ben DeLuzio, who was born in St. Louis but grew up in Florida. Now a St. Louis Cardinal, another young player. So Hanser Alberto just throwing up cookies, and we'll see how many of the Cardinals can hit him.
Yeah, we're talking to a lot of players in these situations. you almost get away from your batting stance and you treat it like old school softball. You don't have a leg kick, pull out a leg kick.
Alberto catches that pop-up. I've seen some guys even bat from their opposite side in situations like this. So we'll see. Arenado's just going to bat right-handed here against.
Well, Rendon did that this season and hit a home run.
Yeah, he did.
It was fascinating.
Javier Baez did it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Batted left-handed. Almost hit a home run once. Nolan Arenado's next home run will give him 30 for the year. Oh, big whiff.
It's not too many pitches at 55 miles an hour that Arenado has seen in his career. This may be the most effective guy that can get him out.
He's swung and missed again.
I'm going to need to see him shorten up right here.
Well, he didn't miss that one. As it goes out to Trace Thompson in left field. 2022 Roberto Clemente Award presented by Capital One recognizes one player who best represents the game through positive contributions on and off the field. Learn more about the nominees and vote at MLB.com/Clemente21. Juan Yepes the batter. This is the last Friday Night Baseball telecast of the year. I've only done a few of these. I know you guys have been around pretty much every week, but this is quite a way to go out to end the season, I'd say.
You couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Yepes hits one to deep right center as Mookie Betts gets to it. Hanser Alberto gave up a home run to Alec Burleson, the first in Burleson's career. It's 11-0 Cardinals. Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by ZipRecruiter. I'm Wayne Randazzo alongside Chris Young, Russell Dorsey, and Tricia Whitaker here at Dodger Stadium in LA as we show you past Roberto Clemente Award winners, including Curtis Granderson right there. Miguel Vargas leads off the bottom of the 8th inning. Anthony Rizzo, Carlos Carrasco, past winners of the Roberto Clemente Award. We'll find out who the 2022 winner will be at this year's World Series, which could very well be right here at Dodger Stadium. Despite the score, this is a Dodger ball club that's won 104 games this year and is just 3 wins away from setting
a Dodger franchise record for the most wins in a season, which they tied last year at 106. Zach Thompson strikes out Vargas to begin the bottom of the 8th.
Guys, I want to say this. We're in front of a sellout crowd here at Dodger Stadium. We've witnessed history. And Wayne, you mentioned something earlier. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. Albert Pujold becoming the first player born outside the U.S. to hit 700 homers. And I know there are a lot of people watching our broadcast in the Dominican right now that are very happy. And it's one of the reasons baseball is so cool, because you have people from a lot of different places that can do some really special things. And what we witnessed tonight here is as special as it gets.
That really is one of the great moments in baseball history. There have been so few 700 home run hitters in the game, and really, Babe Ruth, there's no video of home run number 700 off Tommy Bridges. You can go back and watch Hank Aaron's 700th homer and Bonds's, and now you can watch Albert Pujols' 700th home run as well. And to be in this booth that Vince Scully called so many incredible moments here at Dodger Stadium in, I mean, it really is just an absolute privilege to be here tonight for this. And to be just a fly on the wall, watch Albert Pujols as StatCast Google Cloud shows us how career home runs 699 and 700 looked. First one was 434 feet. It was a rocket. And the second one had just enough, as Chris Taylor went back to the wall in left center field, and Pujols just cleared it for his 700th career home run. The Cardinals and the Dodgers over the years have played each other so many times, have had so many great moments between the two teams against each other. And another one that will stand out for Albert Pujols to do it in this ballpark, where his career was revitalized as a Dodger last year. I don't think Albert gets to 700 if it wasn't for his time here at Dodger Stadium as a Dodger. Hanser Alberto hits one deep to left. It holds up as Lars Nootbaar makes the catch for the second out. This is last year at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Pujols homering for the Dodgers against the Cardinals. Just one of the many on the road to 700. I think the Cardinal fans who were in attendance to watch Albert's return to St. Louis, it had been so long. Pujols, a great Cardinal. I think they would have been satisfied with that if that was the last act for Pujols at Busch Stadium. Mookie Betts with a drive to left. Nootbaar back near the wall. He's got it. And Betts flies out to end the 8th. 1-2-3 inning for Zach Thompson. It's 11-0 Cardinals as we go to the 9th.
Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by ZipRecruiter. I'm Wayne Randazzo alongside Chris Young, Russell Dorsey, and Tricia Whitaker. Pleased to be here for baseball history tonight at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. This copyrighted broadcast, presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Dylan Carlson leads off the top of the ninth against Hanser Alberto, who's working overtime here as a pitcher. Position player on the mound for the last couple of innings of this game as the Dodgers have gotten blown out in a way they haven't in years. This would be their worst shutout loss since 2018 if it stays like this, as Carlson flies out to Bellinger.
And guys, we'd be remiss tonight if we didn't pay our respects to Maury Wills, who passed away this week at the age of 89. Dodgers legend, 1962 NL MVP, stole over 100 bases that year, two-time Gold Glove winner, third African-American manager in the big leagues, in big league history, three-time World Series winner, just a great representative for the game of baseball in the city of Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
Maury Wills, who passed away this week, was the MVP of the National League in 1962, a year where the Dodgers and Giants finished tied. As Lars Nootbaart's a fly ball to right to Betts, and there's two down. So they played a best-of-3 tiebreaker series, and Maury Wills ended up with 104 stolen bases that year, which was the record at the time in a 165-game season, because of those three tiebreaker games. And a great career for Maury Wills, three-time World Series winner with the Dodgers, as they won in 1959, 1963, and 1965, with Maury Wills on the roster, and a beloved member of the Dodger community passing away this week.
Manager Dave Roberts wears his number 30. Obviously meant a lot to Dave, and Dave talked about that earlier this week and just how much Maury meant to him.
Scoop at third by Max Muncy. And Andrew Kisner retired at first. A 1-2-3 inning for Hanser Alberto. Retired 6 in a row after the Burleson homer. It's 11-0 Cardinals. Albert Pujols' 700th home run was shown on the scoreboard in Arizona during the Diamondbacks-Giants game tonight. You see Evan Longoria clapping for Albert from afar. The Giants players watching in awe. Brandon Crawford, Wilmer Flores, and J.D. Davis as Albert rounded the bases after his 700th home run. I'm sure the entire baseball world buzzing tonight. Not to see Corey Dickerson pitch the bottom of the ninth, but to see Albert Pujold hit his 700th career home run. As Gavin Lux gets a base hit off of Dickerson. The Dodgers just trying to break the shutout here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Started with a leadoff double. You know, this season is so long. There's 162 games, several months to play every day. And over the course of a career, you build these great moments. And for Albert Pujold, I mean, you know, I was in high school when Albert's career started. You know, all three of us were at various stages, and you were probably in grade school.
I was in first grade when Albert made his debut.
I mean, Albert's career spanned for so many years, so many games. And to see that kind of moment happen in this place at Dodger Stadium, I mean, it's really an inspiration to see Pujols out there at 42 years old and still be able to delight an audience and delight the baseball world the way that he did tonight.
Yeah, he's truly leading the game the same way he came in. You talked about his numbers, and he and Ted Williams being the only players to come in with 20 and leave with 20.
That ball caught it right by Carlson for the first out.
And that's every player's dream. Every player's dream is to be able to go out on their own terms and to be able to make that decision that they're leaving the game because they're choosing to leave the game, not because they got kicked out or couldn't earn another job. So the way that Pujols has been able to do it, I mean, it's truly built for a storybook.
So all three of us work in baseball. See why you were a player. And sometimes you could naturally, you know, not really take in moments because we're so close to it. But this is one of those moments where you really have to soak it in, because who knows how long it will be, if ever, that we see somebody get to 700 home
Yeah, there's
runs.
a good chance we won't see that again.
Right.
Great chance.
Right. So it's really, I tell people all the time, you got to appreciate greatness when you see it, and this is one of those moments.
Max Muncy bats with 2 outs and hits 1 foul. Think about Albert's place with all the great Cardinals, and really you have to think about Stan Musial. Stan the Man. Saw a great article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch the other day. Stan's grandson talking about Albert's relationship with Stan. Stan's grandson had never met Albert until Stan's funeral. And Albert, as Stan's grandson said, it was tough to go walk to the casket and see Stan after he had passed. And Albert guided him along, stood there with him, made sure he was okay as he looked at his grandfather after passing for the first time. And that's really at the core of Albert Pujols and his connection to the St. Louis Cardinals. And this has been Albert Pujols' night. It won't end here as Max Muncy legs out an infield hit. Corey Dickerson didn't realize he had to cover first base now that he's pitching here at the end of this game, so this one will continue. But Albert Pujols means so much to St. Louis baseball, to the Cardinals organization, to have him come back in his final year as a Cardinal and to reach 700 home runs in the Birds on Bat uniform. And they must be absolutely over the moon in St. Louis tonight to see Albert do what he did here in LA.
And you know, they can't wait for the team to get back home to be able to celebrate him on his home turf. I'm sure they'll have something really special planned for him, deservingly so.
Not only the pride of the Dominican, but the pride of Missouri. The guy went to college in Missouri, and so you're right, C.Y. You know those fans are smiling.
Well, tomorrow he'll face Clayton Kershaw, so it's probably good that he got 700 out of the way tonight. I'm sure Kershaw would have done anything possible to make sure he did not give up 700. It'll be Kershaw against Jordan Montgomery here tomorrow in Game 2 of this series. 3-2 on Chris Taylor.
Working a deep count against Corey Dickerson here. And there's ball 4, so the bases will be loaded. And Trace Thompson will bat.
Trace Thompson.
Thompson 0 for 3 tonight. Thompson's goal for the year is to try not to be the only brother in the family without a ring. Fly ball to right. Dylan Carlson will put this one away, and the St. Louis Cardinals dominate the Dodgers tonight, 11-0 at Dodger Stadium. But this one will be long remembered, not for the lopsided score, but for the fact that Albert Pujols reached 700 career home runs here in LA with a multi-home run performance that shook the crowd here in Southern California and proposed an 11-0 victory on the way for St. Louis. As our SoFly player of the game tonight, we had to think about it. A couple of home runs from guys tonight, but guess what? It's Albert Pujols. 700, the magic number for Albert tonight, and on that swing, he became the 4th player in Major League Baseball history to reach 700 career home runs. Dave Winfield was as shocked as the rest of us. Albert at 2 tonight. And number 700 off of Phil Bickford, putting Albert in the category with Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, and Babe Ruth, the only members of the 700 home run club. Pujols greeting another future Hall of Famer, Adrian Beltre, on his way to the Cardinal dugout. But guys, we'll never forget this one, number 700 for Albert Pujols.
What an amazing night. A guy, I think everybody in this building wanted a 2-homer game from Albert Pujols because they knew what that would mean, but it's just an awesome feeling to be able to be a part of that, to witness history. And baseball's been around for a long time, CY.
Yeah, and Pujols never surprises you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he never catches you off guard. He's a superstar player. Coming into the game, you don't think he's going to have a 2-homer game, but completely showed out tonight and had an amazing game for the squad.
The Cardinals won 11-0, and Lars Nootbaar had a good night, too. He's standing by with Tricia Whitaker.
Yeah, that's right. Well, first and foremost, we want to talk about Albert Pujols seeing that 700th home run leave the yard. Your emotions when you saw that happen.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable. You know, like when you really think about it, put it in perspective, 700. Wasn't surprised by it, you know, by any means, but couldn't have him do a better person, better player. So happy for him, and I think big weight off his shoulders that he got that 700.
What was the reception like in the dugout? Well, you guys were actually outside of the dugout after he hit it, but what was that moment like?
It was pretty special. You know, I know for him, you know, it's a little emotional for him because that's, you know, something that probably is never going to be done again. And so for him, you know, a little emotional, but I think it's great that we have his teammates like Waino and Yadi still here, and so he can kind of enjoy that moment with them, and obviously a special moment for him and his family and everything like that. So like I said before, it couldn't happen to a better guy.
That was certainly a great milestone, but this offense has come alive the last couple games after a pretty brutal stretch. How nice was that to see? Obviously, you being a big part of that as well.
Yeah, you know, anytime we can come out and put up, I think 10 it was tonight, you know, it's always big. But, you know, like you said before, we were a little cold before that, but keeping the confidence, keeping the energy up in the clubhouse, dugout, everything like that. To see it come in, you know, full circle like that's huge.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Guys, let's send it back to you.
All right, Tricia, thank you very much. Lars Nootbaar said it was a little emotional for Albert. I'm sure it was a lot emotional for Albert as he got to 700 home runs tonight. It was a moment that we really thought could be possible tonight as they came into a pregame ceremony. Of course, Albert and Yadier Molina both retiring after this season. They were both gifted golf bags by the Dodgers. Justin Turner and Max Muncy coming out to present those to Albert and to Yadi. And that was really just the beginning of what would be a memorable night for Albert Pujols here at Dodger Stadium, as Pujols clubbed 2 home runs to give him 700 in his major league career. Albert Pujols now joins Ruth, Bonds, and Aaron in a very exclusive 700 home run club. And CY, as we were talking about with Albert, you know, he has done some of this stuff in grand style before, in a multi-home run game to get to 500 home runs, get a grand slam to get his 600th home run, and now he hit 699 and 700 tonight, and you just have to stop and admire what Albert could do, especially when the entire spotlight is on him.
I think some things are just meant to be. When it comes down to it, when you look at the game of baseball and you see the great players who have had these great moments, it's not like it always lines up for it, and they come through. The story's always great, and Albert's no different. He's a superstar player, and the way he left the Angels just didn't feel quite right for the caliber of player that he was. So for him to be able to go to the Dodgers and have the success that he had there, and to be able to go back home and set this record as a St. Louis Cardinal, it was just so important for his legacy, and I'm glad it was able to play out the way it did.
Russ, as we've seen Albert Pujold, but you're a writer. You want to tell great stories. I think Albert gave all of us a story that we could tell our kids and grandkids and beyond that for as long as we live. This was really special to be a part of.
It is, and I talked to Albert earlier this year when he first got back to St. Louis, and he said coming home to St. Louis, he compared it to when you leave home and you get away from mom's cooking for a while and you come back and it tastes exactly the same. To see him, like CY talked about, to see him finish it here in St. Louis with the Cardinals, where it all started, where he became the machine, where he became one of the greatest right-handed hitters we have ever seen, it's fitting. And to be able to see him go out his way, CY talked about it during the game. We don't get to see that a lot, not only in baseball, but in sports in general. And it's nice to see Albert be able to go out his way.
And there's still more work to do.
Yes.
I mean, I think when you talk to Pujold after this game, as massive of a moment this is for him and his family, I guarantee you he's going to talk about the job not being finished and the fact that we still have a goal as a team. And that's what the great teammates and players do. I mean, I had an opportunity to play with Pujold, and he is so team-centered. And he understands the bigger reason behind it. And he doesn't put all the focus on himself. He was the ultimate teammate that I had. And he wants to go out there and win this World Series.
Yeah.
And that's his goal. That was his goal when he joined the squad. He knew that the Cardinals had a really good team put together. He knew his boys were over there. He knew they had the right young pieces over there to be able to give it a really good shot at pushing, making that postseason push. So I'm still pulling for the Cardinals. You know, I mean, this is a great story, and it would be nice to see them be able to go deep into the playoffs and see Pujold have more big moments just like this one.
Well, he really ratcheted up the machine tonight to hit 2 home runs to get him to 700. The Wizard, Ozzie Smith, the Hall of Famer, with a tweet about the accomplishment of the greatest right-handed hitter that he's ever seen. We can all agree with that. Albert Pujold now at 700 career home runs, delighting the baseball community and the Cardinal community tonight, as Ozzie Smith, who once hit a pretty big home run that made people go crazy against the Dodgers. Well, it was number 700 that sparked the crowd here at Dodger Stadium tonight, as Albert Pujold lifted the Cardinals to an 11-0 victory against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium tonight. Before we sign off for the final time in 2022, we want to take a moment to thank the Apple TV Plus audience for an unforgettable debut year. Chris Young, Russell Dorsey, Trisha Whitaker, our entire crew, some great coverage throughout the year here on Apple TV Plus. I'm Wayne Randazzo. Post-game coverage from the studio presented by SoFi is next, but for now, we'll leave you with some of the best and brightest moments experienced on Friday Night Baseball this season. We'll see you next year.
So to welcome in everybody, Melanie Newman alongside Chris Young and Hannah Kaiser. Brooke Fletcher will be joining us.
We need headsets, we need phones, we need all that you have.
This was a really tense game.
Sooner or later, tensions flare and guys get fed up.
I'm Melanie Newman alongside Chris Young, Russell Dorsey.
He got around the tag! Now you see me, now you don't.
We'll be joined by Trisha Whitaker.
It's a little big. I do have an extra large on, so it's kind of like a dress.
I appreciate Apple TV for everything. I would love to have some Apple TV for my teammates, for everybody. So, shout out to you. I love you all.
The family in the stands are more nervous than he is at the plate.
He sends this one out to right field, and a major league hit. His first at-bat, Nolan Gorman. They're going to keep that ball forever.
I've been locked in for 19 years to watch my grandson play baseball, and it's just been a dream.
Some fireworks from the Pirates, but it's the Brew Crew that holds on This is the son of one of our cameramen who just caught that home run ball. Look at calm down right there. Take a look up. This one is gone. Aaron Judge. Who else? This guy cannot be stopped. Garrett Cole, he has got 8 strikeouts. He put in the work. He does his homework. Jonathan Scope breaks up what was a perfect game.
Hey, come on now. Stop giving him credit. You know he ain't stealing. I digress. You got to be kidding me. He made a lot out of me.
We made the trek all the way to Bernie Chalet to get some more serious work done. Well, we're not short of any content here.
Juan trying to get to it and foul ground, reaching into the crowd. Did he hang on to it? He did. He made the catch. What an effort by Stephen Kwan.
That was a close one.
And he's taking issue with Karinchak, and it's the fact that he keeps touching his hair.
Yeah, but when you see that from the other dugout, you're like, man, there's got to be something in there.
Contreras with a drive out to center field. And here comes Juan Soto. Welcome back to DC.
He's going up there continuing to be aggressive and hammering that ball.
Clear. Take your last. Make it even bigger this time.
This is an absolute nuke.